people that live in the free world and people that are currently living in New York, welcome to a brand new video. You might not be aware of what's actually going on in New York right now. If you are not currently up to date, I am gonna catch you the frick up. New York is in jeopardy. It's dying. Not only are the illegal immigrants literally fucking tearing the city apart and riots actually blowing shit up, not only do you have people chanting in the streets, globalize the intifada from Gaza to Mexico. Complete retards are going on, literally losing their shit. You got Jews digging tunnels. You got New York has a little for everybody, okay? But you are not aware of how bad shit literally is in New York. It's about to get so much worse. Thanks to Hasan Piker. No way. There's no way. Anyway, let me introduce you to this freak. Zohran Mamdani. This guy is running for governor. He is running for mayor for New York. This is very scary. Very scary. Now, to be clear, this guy's only lived in America for a little bit. Not for very long. You will see he's a nice guy, nice smile. He probably is not trying to do anything devious. He's probably not trying to openly fuck the entire country, right? It's not like he's an open communist or anything. That was epic foreshadowing. He's an open communist. So anyway, this is his endorsement. AOC is in his ad for governor, all right, for mayor, whatever. Let's watch the ad, and then we're gonna talk about how he's trying to turn New York City into fucking hell.
Our future will not be different until we make a different choice.
Bro.
We have to fill out the entire ballot and do not rank Andrew Cuomo. New York City, we need a new day. We deserve a chance.
Dude, I don't like Cuomo either, by the way, but this is crazy.
A New York City that centers working people.
Oh.
All of these concepts are just ideas in the clouds if we do not bring them home. Elect Zohran for mayor.
Paid for by Zohran for NYC.
Uh-oh! That's a professional uh-oh. So first, we have AOC, this is already a red flag, immediately saying that absolutely, you need a vote for Zohran. It's all up to Zohran. He is gonna change the world. Now, you might recognize this person that's chilling with Zohran. This is Hassan Diddy Epstein Bin Laden Piker. He might have had sex with children. He supports a lot of pedophiles. He is a pedophile supporter. All right, he likes them a lot. I mean, he supports the Houthi terrorists who literally have child sex slaves. And there are 4 million children in Yemen married right now. So, pedophile supporter is collabing with this guy, Zohran. It's our boy. Yeah. Now you're probably thinking, listen, he probably just doesn't realize how radical Hassan is. He probably doesn't realize that Hassan is actually a fucking demon that supports every terrorist organization ever, that directly, openly hates Jews. I mean, after all, he's running for mayor in the city with the most Jews in the world after Israel. New York, baby, New York. There's no way he's actually an open anti-Semite, right? Like, there's no way he just openly hates Jews, collabing with Hasan Piker, a guy that supports terrorists that kill Jews. There's no way! You're not ready for what's about to happen. So this is, if you look up Hasan and Mamdani, Zohan's last name, you'll notice something funny. The fact that he made a video here, and here, and here. This is a different guy, and here, and here, and this is Hasan, and again with the same guy, and here, and what about here, and what about this? And people also watch these videos, and more of them. What about these? What about all of the? What about this one as well? What's going on? He fucking ran his entire campaign. I could keep going. He has been glazing this man unironically nonstop the entire time. This guy's bad fucking news. I am just trying to tell people, hey guys, please be aware. Be aware, if you're in New York, do not vote for the other guy, please. Please! This is crazy! Here he did an entire hour-long conversation with him, man. An hour-long conversation about how New York needs to die or something. This is crazy. Anywho, I wanted to show you some interesting drama that this guy recently got into, which is why we're talking about it today. Just a little bit of a warning. Zohran Mamdani is not running a campaign. He is leading an Islamic political insurgency. That's crazy, all right? That's crazy. There is no way this is happening, okay? There's no way this is happening. I am not willing to accept it, unless what we're witnessing in New York isn't a mayoral race. It's a civilization jihad. And Zohran Mamdani is the smiling face. No way! That's extreme! It's not happening! At a Brooklyn press conference, Mamdani didn't talk policy. He delivered a call to his Ummah, his radical global Islamic community, telling Muslims across New York City, we don't just belong here, we belong in City Hall. This is about domination. Okay, that's extreme. There's no way this is happening. It's not happening. Stop. It's not happening. A CAIR-induced radical backed by international socialist movements and anti-Western networks. A man who co-founded a radical Islamic hate group called the SJP, the campus arm of Hamas. Now we know why they're friends with Hassan. A Marxist, fucking communist bullshit, who openly vilifies Hindus, Jews, defends pro-Hamas rallies, and wants to force halal Sharia-based food practices, holidays, etc. into New York City's public schools. Sharia law in public schools. No, this can't be. It's probably a joke, right? This is probably literally a joke. A loud opponent of borders, ICE, and the very idea of American sovereignty. And yet, New York City is sleepwalking towards disaster. Make no mistake, Mamdani is not here to serve America. He's here to reshape it. His campus fuses Islamic supremacism, post-colonial grievance, and revolutionary socialism into one calculated movement, funded, organized, global in scope. This is the Muslim Brotherhood playbook. This is the Red-Green Alliance. This is the long game. Use democratic systems to embed anti-democratic ideology into the system that cannot fight back. June is the primary. New York must decide. Now, this is the guy that we're talking about.
The elections में only 7%.
न्यूयॉर्क सिटी के मेयर के इलेक्शन के लिए पे मुस्लिम अमेरिकन उम्मीदवार जोहरान ममदानी.
We have 8.5 million people. And हम सब जानते हैं कि of that 8.5 million, तकरीबन 1 million are Muslim. और उस million में 2 lakh are registered Democrats. पर पिछली elections में only 7% of Muslim Democrats have voted. And I do not blame our community because much of the time there is not much to vote for. But what...
Right, everything bad. America bad. Holy shit, it's literally the Hasan playbook. And he's actually in the lead. It's literally Hasan in another flesh. America bad. No one to vote for. Everyone's bad.
We are showing in this election is an opportunity to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City. We also belong in City Hall.
33 साल जोहरान ममदानी मुसलसल 3 टर्म से न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट असेंबली के मेंबर मुंतखब हो रहे हैं और के दौरान वो न्यूयॉर्क सिटी के मेयर की.
And you know that's of course translated obviously because this is very important for the movement. It's a little scary. It's a little scary. We'll see what happens. Who knows? The America Bad Party is actually growing in America. Now, anti-Semitic New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani fake cries because he's being called out for the anti-Semite that he is. He called for Israel to be wiped off the map and for Islam to conquer the world. No way this guy's running for mayor, bro! No way! What happened to the good old Christian values, bro?
I get messages that say the only good Muslim is a dead Muslim.
Oh! Bro, I get those messages about Jews. Don't fake cry. Everyone gets those messages. This is fucking Twitter. What are you talking about?
I get threats on my life.
Me too. Join the club. Don't be a pussy.
On the people that I love, and I try not to talk about it.
This is you failing.
Because the function of racism, as Toni Morrison said, is distraction.
He is so fucking good at this. The function of racism! Oh, give me a fucking break, bro. Could you stop?
My focus has always been on making this a city that's a...
We are not racist. We just hate the infidels and the and we just hate the infidels, bro.
On making this a city that every New Yorker sees themselves in. And it takes a toll because this is a city that every single person deserves to be in. It's a city that we all belong to.
This is including illegal immigrants, by the way.
And the thing that's made me proudest is that the strength of our movement is built on our ability to have built something across Jewish and Muslim New Yorkers, across New Yorkers of all faiths and all backgrounds and all boroughs. And anti-Semitism is such a real issue in this city.
He's just hitting all the fucking buzzwords, isn't he?
And it has been...
Remember, this guy supports pro-Hamas protests. This guy is part of the wing that organized the pro-Hamas protests. Dog, are you fucking joking? Your movement is the #1 cause of anti-Semitism in America.
Hard to see it weaponized by candidates who do not seem to have any sincere interest in tackling it.
You are literally just doing that!
But rather in using it as a pretext to make political points.
Right.
And that's what I've tried to share.
Thank you so much. Do you have a final question?
You're so brave, so brave. I'm so happy he cried for anti-Semitism. It's really important because obviously anti-Semitism means a lot to him. Absolutely, very based. Anyway, here's a tweet from the U.S. Holocaust Museum. Exploiting the museum and the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising to sanitize Globalize the Intifada is outrageous and especially offensive to survivors. Since 1987, Jews have been attacked and murdered under its banner. All leaders must condemn its use and the abuse of history. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I mentioning this? Why do I feel the need to bring this up? Well, Zohran, whatever, this fucking guy, he said that chanting Globalize the Intifada is the chant of, you know, rebel against Jews, basically kill Jews shit, right? Globalize the intifada around the world is the same as the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Is this not fucking crazy? This is insane. How do you possibly compare the two? Yes, globalizing the intifada in America is totally like the Jews in a concentration camp in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising against the Nazis and getting all murdered. Totally the same thing, to the point that the Holocaust Museum made this tweet saying you cannot compare globalize the intifada, chanting to kill Jews around the world basically, to the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. You literally cannot possibly compare the two. He compares the two. That's why they made this tweet. Zohran cheered on the stabbing intifada as a third intifada. If you are Jewish leftist supporting Zohran, you are literally suicidal. I don't even think he's wrong. This is a tweet from 2015 from Zohran. Interesting piece from Anat Bzetsky in the New York Times opinion, especially as a third intifada looms. Third intifada! Ooh! Anyway, the third intifada's journey into the stabbing intifada. It was when there were an unbelievable amount of stabbing terrorist attacks taking place in Israel, and he was excited about the third intifada. So now he's saying globalize the intifada. This is crazy, by the way. This is crazy. This is like a holy shit moment. It literally is a holy shit moment. Breaking news, CIAR quietly funneled $100,000 into Zohran Mamdani's campaign for the New York City governor. And by the way, the United Arab Emirates designated CAIR as a terrorist organization in 2014. The United Arab Emirates call the people that are funding Zohran a terrorist. Revelation comes as Mamdani faces scrutiny for defending the phrase globalize the intifada. You know, shit, he gets fucking scrutiny for that shit. So anyway, much to all of our surprise, Hasan Piker's bestie, the guy that he has literally been campaigning for the entire time, is a socialist, all right? A socialist, communist, seemingly Muslim extremist that is trying to run for mayor in New York City, and it seems to be working. Anywho, this has been wild. This guy, Actual Justice Warrior, made a video on this, and I'm very excited to see the actual breakdown. So, lock in, boys and girls! This is going to be the ride of a lifetime. Definitely subscribe for future fucking retards that we're going to be making fun of. Let's see what happens. Okay.
Hola, 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 mi gente. Estamos aquí. We are here at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I am here loud and proud to rank Zohran Mamdani #1 for mayor of New York City.
What New Yorkers are looking for is a mayor who will actually fight for them.
Yeah, I'm sure all the Jews in New York City are so happy that you're chanting globalize the intifada.
So much faith in him as a leader.
Oh, it's so nice that she has faith in him, bro.
For our city to move us forward because we share in the same values.
Yeah.
New York City, my place of...
Oh no, I'm so sorry, bro. You're cooked. You're cooked. I'm here to spread the message, okay? Of course I'm gonna link this guy in the description. I'm here to spread the message. I'm doing this for you.
Presidents is now on the cusp of probably the worst selection of choices in a Democratic primary of all time. And I want you guys to remember that at one point in time, Bill de Blasio was running against Anthony Weiner in the Democratic mayoral primary process, and that just goes to show you how bad the field is in this particular case.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, the least bad candidate, and I want you guys to understand that when I say the least bad candidate currently running in the Democratic primary is Governor Andrew Cuomo. Governor, I will kill your elderly relatives in a
and that guy's fucking horrible.
nursing home and cover it up. Andrew Cuomo is
the least bad guy is fucking awful.
the least bad option.
Yes.
That's just to give you an idea of the absolute slate of monsters and communists that are running against him at this moment in time. But
we're cooked. We're cooked. Oh Lord. Oh God, I have so much family in New York. Oh guys, get the fuck out of there, bro. Go to Florida. Be based.
none is getting more attention than a man called Zohran Mamdani.
Furthermore, the name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it because we got to get it right.
No,
Because we gotta get it right.
I will not learn how to say your name because hopefully you will never, in the history of this great city, own the title of mayor of New York City. Now, of course, we got to break down what is going on in the polling. What are Mamdani's actual chances of taking this particular office? But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Oh, give me the money.
Give me the money.
okay?
Now, like I alluded to in the open of this particular video, Andrew Cuomo is terrible. I hate Andrew Cuomo. I don't want him to be the mayor of
It's so sad. It's so sad. I bet New York is so cooked. New York is so cooked, bro.
New York City. But the fact is, when you have this slate of Democratic alternatives, you root for the least bad option because the person who wins the Democratic primary has an excellent chance at the general election. And that appears to be the facts of this particular year, although we could get some twisty twists in that Eric Adams is running third party. He is likely to steal votes away from the Democrats. So
I hope
who knows
so.
how this will all shake
That'd be
out
crazy.
eventually. That being said, Mamdani is clearly an
We are renaming New York to Neo-Gaza.
Obviously the worst. This guy's a member of the New York DSA, which is a radical, even further left organization than the New York City Democratic Party. He also
Bro, how are you more left than New York? Dude, how do you go more left than New York? Oh, Lord.
pals around with all these different terrible people like Emma Vigeland, Cenk's nephew, and basically everybody that you
every terrorist supporting cocksucking communist D-bag. America, dude, New York is so cooked, bro. New York is cooked.
think of that is an insufferable, terrible progressive like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez happens to be behind this individual.
Literally, it is the worst people. It's the Avengers assemble of retards getting together to support this guy. All the worst people are supporting this dude. That's all I needed to know.
And on top of everything else, you know 100% after he gets into office, if we are ever unfortunate enough for that to happen, he is going to pull a Sadiq Khan, where you run as this progressive.
Yes, sir. You know it's going to happen. You absolutely know it's going to happen.
This absolute person who's not all that concerned with religion and whatnot, but then...
Yeah, he doesn't care about religion at all, probably. The guy that wants to make all public schools haram. Or, so what is it? Yeah, whatever. Oh my God.
Once you get into office, you start bitching and moaning about Islamophobia.
It's inevitable. We all know what's happening because we see what's going on in England. We see what's happening in England. Oh, Lord.
All over the place.
Halal, not haram. Sorry.
This is the pattern that we...
I have nothing against people being Muslim or eating halal or anything like that, obviously. There are wonderful Muslims out there. Absolutely. And I have so much respect for them. But not the extremists that feel the need to push religion on other people. Not those guys.
See from these types of progressive candidates that also happen to be Muslim, even though they downplay their religious affiliation compared to getting into office. But as soon as they're there, that becomes the key component of their identity. Now, in terms of policy, Mamdani is as bad as it gets. There's a reason why all these wealthy progressives, all these nepotism brats are all behind this individual.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Why are all the nepotism brats supporting this fucker?
And a huge portion of his base of support comes from wealthy Brooklynites and whatnot. And that's because these are all the people that have their parents paying for their rent. So, of course, they think because mommy and daddy takes care of everything for
Hasan Piker, whose father is a billionaire politician in Turkey, whose uncle owns a massive leftist broadcasting network, who himself is worth tens of millions of dollars from making money off Amazon, which is very cool of him because Amazon supports Israel, so Hasan is indirectly supporting Israel. Very cool of Hasan. I didn't think he was cool like that, but look at that. That's my boy. But the fact that of course that guy is a socialist, duh.
For them
on your dime, no problem.
Then daddy government should take care of everybody else's needs because that's what we need to do. And of course, he has the everything's free kind of platform, which includes him having government-run grocery stores in New York City, which we talked about before. That
yikes, dude. Government-run grocery store. He's literally trying to kill every business in New York just to appease the fucking troglodytes on the streets.
Don't have to pay property tax and don't have to pay rent.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect
Wow, it's literally so good. This helps so much. This is so good for everybody. You know, unless you actually want to run a business.
Funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging.
That sounds so fucking good. Oh my God, that literally sounds so good. Unless you're a businessman, in which case it's going to ruin your life.
These stores will operate without a profit motive.
Oh, no motive for profit. It's communism.
We're having to pay property taxes or rent, and we'll pass on those savings to you.
And I would just point out that New York City is a city known for all these different various little corner stores. There's all these private grocery stores.
Yeah, they're all cooked. They're literally all fucked now. There are tons of small businesses, and they are all dead in the water because Zohran Mamdani feels the need to say, hey, I know that your grandfather opened this store in New York 70 years ago, but fuck him. Fuck him. He was here 70 years ago. I don't care about him. There are illegal immigrants that we gotta feed, and they can't afford this. We're gonna have to fuck your grandfather.
That are across the city of New York, and in reality what this would actually do is drive those places out of business and be a giant money sink for the New York City taxpayer. So you're paying more taxes. Your taxes are going to the government instead of to actually people, and every single person who has a small business in all of New York is gonna get mega giga fucked by all of this. Literally, unironically, communism, and no one's going to contribute, no one's going to work hard. New York is going to become a fucking cesspool. There will be zero incentive for anyone to actually wake up, get off their ass, and do something, because don't worry, Zohran Mamdani is going to be there to literally give you everything you need. He is going to be there, and he is going to supply you with all the fucking drugs you could possibly want. Doesn't matter if you're an illegal immigrant, because someone else is going to pay for your healthcare. Going to create more people dependent on the government, and it's going to lead to disastrous results. But the free everything doesn't just stop there. He also is promising a rent freeze. Now, I have a lot to say about this stupid ass proposal. However, I also want to incorporate this clip from this Young Turk segment where, of course, the progressives over there decided to endorse Mamdani. Everyone is supporting this. All the worst people are supporting this guy. Because I think it's absolutely crucial that you hear the absolute dumbest argument about this rent freeze humanly possible. Oh, let's go. Which, of course, is from this other guy who's not Cenk Uygur on the Young Turks.
The Times was misleading with their rent freeze. That is for people who live in rent-stabilized apartments. And there are many. And many of them, that's the only way they can stay in the city. So to prevent them from being priced out, greedy developers and corporate landlords want to raise those rents. He's going to fight for them. This is the working people, the working class, or maybe in some cases the working poor in New York. It's the only way they can stay in the city.
It's not even working people. You're so despicable. You know that? Because this is not for the working people. It's for the homeless people that want to live on my dime. This is for the illegal immigrants that want to survive on my taxpayer money. That's who's fucking doing this shit, all right? Stop it, bro. This is absolutely not for the working class.
City, yes.
Jesus, man. Pay fucking rent, okay? You don't have to live in New York City. You could leave, okay? You could leave New York City. Move 2 blocks away. It's cheaper.
I love that policy. He also does support new housing and new affordable housing. So it's not just going to be, it's not going to prevent new people from coming in. It's going to help lower prices overall. I think it's a smart policy. So I do want to
Oh my God, dude. Everything anti-capitalist, anti-every form of capitalism. Dude, he wants to directly murder the American dream. That's his goal, right? The idea that you can make something of yourself if you work hard, you can't in a society like this because they cap you, bro. Because, oh, you can't raise rent. Oh, you can't open a store. Oh, you can't do shit.
That myth that
you're gonna sit on your thumb and rotate.
The New York Times is pushing likely at the behest of the Cuomo campaign.
So I want to make something clear to everybody out there in the audience. It is 100% true that the rent freeze that Mamdani is proposing only applies to rent-controlled and rent-stabilized units and not all of the private units across New York City. That being said, the person who's lying about this is not the mainstream media. It's not the people who are against Mamdani. It's Mamdani himself. He is campaigning on the idea that Andrew Cuomo is going to raise your rent, but he's going to freeze your rent.
No. The real estate lobby is pouring millions into Andrew Cuomo's campaign because they know it'll raise your rent. Oh, we'll freeze it. Are you actually retarded, bro?
Not taking into account the fact that, of course, he is going to initiate a policy that only applies to rent-stabilized and rent-controlled tenants.
Which is already, a rent-controlled tenant is already a tenant that is sitting in frozen rent, that the rent is not increasing. So he's literally lying. He's literally saying, if you vote for him, you pay more rent. If you vote for me, you pay less rent, when that is not even true.
Also, in addition to that, this Young Turks host, who knows nothing about the New York City rental market, believes that this is not going to have impact on the broader New York rental market.
That's retarded.
He also does support new housing and new affordable housing. So it's not just going to be It's not going to prevent new people from coming in. It's going to help lower prices overall. I think it's a smart policy.
Look, I know progressives are economically illiterate, and that's why he's getting behind Mamdani.
Completely true. Completely accurate. Literally completely true. You're gonna have like a fucking far left retard that came out of college and has a degree in lesbian tap dance theory, and they're gonna see some guy saying, we're literally lowering rent. We're literally just making more money for people. We're literally making food cheaper. And they'll be like, holy fuck, that's everything I've ever wanted.
Mamdani, because Mamdani represents that economic illiteracy, but a quick Google search would have told this absolute buffoon that 44% of the units in New York City that are available for rent are rent controlled or rent stabilized. So
meaning the rent can't increase. It's already, for the most part, frozen.
This has an impact on almost half of the rental market, not to mention the fact that rent control and rent stabilization programs raise prices for everyone else due to those same impacts. So, of course, this guy knows absolutely nothing about,
because it makes the supply so much less for anybody else,
about the market and how stuff is built in New York City, and how this will disincentivize building in New York City, because when you want to build a big building with a certain amount of units, what you have to do is reserve some of those units for rent stabilization. Now, if Mamdani is saying,
which is so fucking bullshit, man,
that he's not going to allow you to raise the rent even by the meager 1.5% a year that is standard under the program, then that is going to disincentivize building, because you are going to have to reserve a larger portion of units in there that are going to be economically unviable much more quickly. Because
you got to realize that when a building is built, it's because there's someone that wants to make money. All right, someone at the top wants to make money. So they decide, we're going to be building a building with 10 units, and we're going to be renting out all 10 of these units. The government already is telling you that 5 of those units, they're only going to be going up in rent 1.5% a year. We're stabilizing the rent so that the people that are renting can essentially get a good deal, and if they don't leave, they will only be paying you 1.5% more than anyone else. Currently, the real estate market in New York is awful. I know a lot of people in real estate. Living the stereotype, but I know a lot of people in real estate, but no one's investing in New York right now, basically. Because if you invest in New York and then you have a rent stabilized apartment, the rent doesn't pay you back for even the mortgage that you use for to buy the building. Now, that said, if he wants to completely freeze rents, the people that are building buildings will lose money on renting buildings, on renting the actual apartments. It is de-incentivizing every single person from actually building anything in New York. Like, it's brutal. Because you don't make it a stabilized one. I'm pretty sure you need to make like half of it stabilized.
You can't even raise them by 1.5%.
You are literally killing these landlords. You don't understand how insane it is. Like, I mean, I'm not saying ooh, boo hoo, the poor landlords, but if none of this happens, then it doesn't work for anybody. Like, dude, thank God for the landlords, or these people would be sleeping on park benches.
Let alone the actual market rate. In addition to that, he talks about how, oh, the poors are in these rent stabilized and rent controlled apartments, when in reality, that's not true. Again, some people who have low income will win some of the lotteries for some of those lower tier apartments, but the fact is, what actually happens with rent control and rent stabilization is that people hold these units for years, pass them to relatives, and what ends up happening is typically
you end up with a rent stabilized apartment where essentially the apartment is paying you bupkis, even though it's worth essentially nothing. Like, dude, let's say the average rent in New York goes for, let's say, $4,000 a month. And you have a rent stabilized apartment that some guy lived in for years and passed it off to his relative, and that place is paying you $1,000 a month. You're essentially taking a $3,000 a month hit because of this stabilization. Now, a lot of people are complaining as it is right now, even though it only increases by 1.5%. Imagine if just... The freeze sounds so good for poor people, but you are literally designing your campaign to suck votes from the lowest common denominator of contributor to society.
The more wealthy people end up with those apartments in their hands, while broke people have to compete in the private market, which of course only represents around half of the available units. And because of all the distortions and the increased demand for those private units, the rents end up skyrocketing over there. So it definitely impacts everything. Market we saw in Buenos Aires.
Absolutely. Because you think it's only poor people that live in rent-controlled apartments? Bro, no one knows how to game the system like a rich guy. What are you talking about?
When they ended up taking taking all these rules and regulations out of the market, that supply went up by, I believe, threefold, and rents got cut in half. And by the way, this is true in every single city that does not have rent control or rent stabilization.
True.
In fact, all of the cities that have these programs have the highest rents, have the most out of control rents,
True,
and have all the same other problems associated with these types of programs.
Again, I'm a capitalist. I obviously agree with all of this.
I mean, you guys might have seen this viral video that was going around that was advocating for taxation against landlords that don't rent any of their buildings, that leave their building vacant.
Yeah, there are landlords now that it is so brutal to rent apartments to people that end up stabilizing the rent and lock in for eternity, where it's basically impossible to evict people, that you have landlords that prefer to keep the building empty than actually rent it out. Is that not brutal?
We play a clip for that right now for you guys.
All right, this building right here is the 8 of nearly 100,000 vacant apartments that are in New York City. This is 2nd Avenue, which is prime real estate, where the average 4-bedroom goes for $6,000. I'll show you another completely vacant building about 200 feet away. Now, why are all these buildings vacant? These apartments continue to sit vacant because of a law that was passed in 2019 called the Housing and Stability Tenant Protection Act.
Yeah.
Very well intentioned, very poorly executed. Big picture, what the law did is when someone moves out of a rent stabilized apartment, let's say they want to move to Florida or they pass away, they eliminated the landlord's ability to raise the rent at a reasonable level. So now when someone moves out of a building, the landlord's like, it doesn't make economic sense to renovate the apartment, and they take the tax write-off and let that apartment sit vacant. Here's another completely...
That's it, baby. That's it, baby. You mark it as a loss every single year on your taxes. It's worth better. It is literally better to market your taxes as a loss than to even rent it out to some guy that'll sit there, or not, for eternity and stabilize the rent. Do you realize how fucked that system is? Oh my god. I'm telling you, socialism, bro. It's toxic. It's so toxic. These communist fucks.
Vacant building. Look at that. That building's been vacant for over 5 years. You can read all about it. So every single day, as these apartments are being moved out of and they are not being renovated, New York City becomes more and more unaffordable.
Yep. You know why? Because there's so much less supply. Half the buildings are empty. Literally, these people need to find places to live. They need to find places to live, and half of it's empty. So the other half have double the demand so they can raise the prices. Look how awful this is. Thanks, socialism.
And these absolute idiots on the left are calling for taxation against these landlords who aren't renting those units. But in reality, isn't it weird that in the same video where you say you could rent apartment units for $6,000 a month, that these buildings are left unoccupied? Like, the landlords are trying to lose money on these properties. It doesn't really make sense. Well, the thing is, when you actually search these addresses, what you end up finding out is that these buildings were built before 1974, which means not only are they eligible for rent stabilization, but they're actually eligible for the more restrictive rent control. And this specific building that he shows on screen, there's actually New York Post news articles about how they're trying to repair the building, but the one tenant that lives there, that's lived there for decades, is refusing to leave.
That's it. They cannot renovate the entire building because they can't evict the tenant.
And the reason he's refusing to leave is because his rent is capped at $350.
That's it, baby. Rent control. Look at that. Look at socialism. Socialism is now causing this entire building to not even work. Let's go, socialism. You've saved America.
Again, this New York Post article is from the same exact building that is featured in this video that supposedly is not being put out on the market because of greedy capitalism, but in reality, it's not being put out on the market because you can't even maintain an apartment unit and all the things that a landlord has to do without losing money if the rent is capped at $350. So we have a bunch of different buildings in New York City that are completely economically unviable due to the very policies that these left-wing progressives advocate for, and that supply will...
And you know what? You know, in my opinion, the reason why they're talking about this is because they know that your average idiot is gonna think they're a genius. You know, your average fucking progressive guy that came out of college in debt is gonna be like, holy shit, renting an apartment for $350 from those evil landlords? That's amazing! Bro, crazy.
Re-emerge on the market if we ever decide to repeal said policies. But Mamdani wants to go in the other direction.
Yeah!
He doesn't even want to do these public-private partnerships anymore. He wants to do 100% publicly funded housing.
I've already told you about my commitment to freeze the rent for every single rent-stabilized tenant.
I already told you about this buzzword. Progressive save money. Buzzword. You don't have to work and you'll pay less money. Buzzword. But now let me tell you about how it ruins the city.
That covers about half of all New York City renters.
Good job, bro. Good job. You're saving the world.
But what about the other half? We need more housing. A lot more. As mayor, I'll build 200,000 new, permanently affordable, union-built, rent-stabilized homes over the next 10 years.
Sure. You're gonna pay for that out of your own pocket.
Tripling what we're currently set to build. Any 100% affordable project gets fast-tracked. No more pointless delays. We're gonna unleash the public sector.
Now, if you're ignorant or just stupid, then this might sound like a great policy.
And I think that, to be honest, the reason why this sounds like a great policy is because a lot of people are ignorant and stupid. There are. Some guy with a degree in liberal arts is gonna think this is the greatest thing ever.
To you, you know, all the private developers, they're the ones making apartments.
Absolutely. It literally, money makes the world go round, baby. Makes the world go round, dog. Bro, it's the people that are trying to make money off of real estate that are actually putting in the elbow grease to build buildings. If you make it completely inconceivably impossible to make money through real estate, no one's gonna fucking do this shit. No one's gonna even work there. Dude. I don't want to like get into personal real estate shit, but dude, I know a lot of people that worked in real estate in New York. Almost all of them are now doing real estate in other places, like Florida. Florida's crazy. Israel, actually, real estate market in Israel is insane. But like New York is like, no one's touching it, bro.
Apartments so much more expensive in New York City. I mean, in Austin and all these other cities in Texas and Florida where they don't have rent control and they let builders build, rents are going down. They're dropping in those cities because, you know, supply is actually allowed to rise and meet demand. But in New York City, where 44% of the units are capped or controlled in some way by the city council, it's actually the greedy capitalists that are raising the rent. Well, in reality, it's not true. And when you actually try to engage in these public housing initiatives, one of the things that you find out, and by the way, this is well documented in Ezra Klein's book Abundance, which all these progressives are attacking because it's a left-winger advocating for...
Yeah, it's a left-winger advocating for capitalism, and everyone's losing their fucking mind because these people are so fucking delusional that they think that, what do you mean? If you're progressive, you must also be completely financially retarded. Yeah, but it turns out that is not the actual case. All right, I have people in my chat saying, I'm sure that Israel's empty, so the real estate market is good. You don't have any idea what you're talking about. You think just, dude, okay, the last year, there were wars in Israel. The real estate market went up by 12%. 12% increase in the last year in middle of a war. If you bought an apartment in Israel a year ago for $1 million, right now it would be worth $1,112,000 in middle of a war, okay? Just to put it into perspective.
Allowing people to build things, what you discover is that the cost is astronomical as soon as a percentage of the money is government money, let alone when the whole thing is funded. And by the way, we need look no further than the city of Chicago for a perfect example of this. So you guys might be familiar with this headline.
Yeah, no, but the best place for real estate, in my opinion, right now, in my opinion, Florida. Florida's freaking awesome. Everyone in New York is moving to Florida. All right, I'm just saying, it's the place.
And if you're not familiar, I will explain this story to you because I think it's absolutely crucial for you to understand, especially if you're advocating for fully funded government housing units in order to address the affordability crisis. So Brandon Johnson, I believe last year, announced that his administration was going to spend $11 billion in order to build 10,000 affordable housing units. And by the way, these are apartments. Now, if you're not good at math, if it wasn't your best subject, you might not realize that that is a cost of $1.1 million per unit. And if you guys also aren't aware, the median home price in the city of Chicago, you know, for a whole home is actually $350,000.
That's it, baby. So you are spending triple the amount of the home just to build the home. Yep, that's how real estate dies. That's how the market crashes. That's how there's no housing. That's how no one wants to build. That no one wants to rent. You are creating the homeless cesspool of all time.
So Brandon Johnson, the progressive, the guy that's probably most similar to Mamdani, was bragging to the public that he was going to spend 3 times the median price for a home in the city of Chicago, a whole house, on apartment units that, again, could be as small as studio apartment units.
Of course they're studio apartment units. That is what they're building in Manhattan right now. Manhattan is all studio apartment units right now. That's basically every single new apartment building is just single units. You don't understand. And they're selling it for a fuck ton of money.
This is the graft of affordable housing paid for by the taxpayer, because what we end up discovering is that when tax dollars are in play, you have all these different additional costs like union wage, like all these different environmental regulations, all these various reviews that just drive up the cost to usually double what it costs to build something in the private market. But in this particular case, it costs over 3 times the cost of the median home, which by the way isn't the price to build a home in the city of Chicago, which is just absurd. So Mamdani can make all these promises all he wants, but in reality, what's going to happen right here is that almost none of these properties are going to get built. They're going to be overspent, and we're never going to reach the amount of building that we need in order to actually meet the demand of New Yorkers. So
dude, literally 100%. He's actually spitting facts. This is crazy. This is crazy. He's so right. No, obviously this shit's gonna destroy America. Okay, dude, I had some people sending me links, bro. I had some people sending me links, bro. Oh my god, dude. I'm shocked this is real. I'm shocked this is real. Wake up, New York. Zohran Mamdani is currently second and running for New York City mayor. He's a Muslim socialist and aside from a brief rap career working for his mom and playing activist, he has nothing to show for it. Don't let him fool you with empty promises. Zohran Mamdani just barely ever had a job with 3 years in the workforce, including a rap career.
Go ahead, make a rap for your nanny. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin the rack on your nanny. Spin the rack. Come through, give a dab to your nanny. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your nanny. Go ahead, make a.
This is awful, dude.
Give a dab to your nanny. If you really feeling good, spin a track.
Oh god, stop. I think we get the idea. Yeah, so obviously he's a socialist. He never worked a job in his life. It's like, dude, it's classic. It's classic. He never worked a fucking job in his life. Never worked a job in his life. Becoming the mayor of New York City to fucking destroy everyone that's actually worked for a living. It's wild, bro.
Oh, spoiler alert, rent go up under Mamdani.
Yeah,
he
obviously
also has this free bus program, which by the way, on Twitter, I've actually decided that I want to endorse because the negative downside effects of this particular program.
Someone just told me his rap career is worse than you think. How could it be fucking worse than I think? That was pretty bad. What's this?
In 2017, Zohran Mamdani released a rap track that praised 5 convicted Hamas funders known as the Holy Land Five.
Fuck, man. It's crazy. Holy shit. He supports United States designated terrorist organizations.
Now he wants to run New York. Mamdani says, look him up. So we did. These 5 men were convicted of funneling over $12 million to Hamas.
What the fuck is happening to America, bro? These fucking crazy ass progressive retards are literally destroying the country. It's like an actual terrorist movement. This is wild, man.
A U.S. designated terrorist organization responsible for the murder, rape, and kidnapping of civilians, including Americans. Mamdani sent his love to convicted Hamas funders. Let that sink in. Mamdani said,
build it up, we'll make it fall.
No wall will make it fall. That's an open door for criminals and chaos. Zohran Mamdani stands with convicted terrorist funders and wants open borders. This is New York City, not a sanctuary for terrorists. Zohran Mamdani, unfit, un-American, unthinkable.
Yikes! Every clip I see, I hate him more. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to say. Every time I see him, it's literally worse. Didn't he also get into a fight with Tom Homan? Wait, did he actually? Wait, is that true? Oh my god, he did. Oh my god! This is him! Oh no! I cannot believe it! I saw this clip months ago! This is the guy! Do you believe in the First Amendment? Bro's literally deporting illegal immigrants and he's screaming, do you believe in the First Amendment? What the fuck, man? This is awful, dude! This is insane! It's horrible! Dude, I keep getting these in my fucking feed right now. I don't know. I made a mistake. I should have never talked about him. Right? This is apparently a TikTok created by the staffers at Zohran Mamdani's campaign.
To Mr. Cuomo, I have never had to resign in disgrace. I have never cut Medicaid. I have never stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA. I have never hounded the the 13 women who credibly accused me of sexual harassment. I have never sued for their gynecological records, and I have never done those things because I am not you, Mr. Cuomo. And furthermore, the name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it.
There was not a single white person. There wasn't a single white person in this entire fucking video. All right.
Grandma are too numerous to measure. So first and foremost, he says he's going to pay for this by taxing the millionaires. Go get the millionaires and the billionaires. And in reality, this is just going to drive them out of New York City because you already have to pay a premium to live in New York City if you're wealthy. But in addition to that, he needs statewide approval in order to raise taxes in the way that he wants.
Bro, he just wants to go in and raise taxes. He just wants to go in and raise taxes, man. Ooh, taxes are so great because, well, everyone's poor anyway, so it's only the rich people that pay taxes, guys. Oh my god.
On these millionaires, so there's no way he's going to be able to get that as the mayor of New York City. In addition to that, the free buses program will actually move paying subway customers away from the subway onto the buses because, again, if you're poor, why would you pay $2.90 if you can get on a bus that's going to be slower but it's going to be free?
Bro, he's fucking this entire city. He's like, yo, I'm gonna make this entire city shittier, but better if you don't contribute to society. This is how society dies, by the way.
Which will end up damaging the MTA in two different ways, which will again create a bigger shortfall in that agency, which again will require another bailout through more taxation. Like, I know it sounds so obvious to you guys when
it is so obvious, and it's so obvious now to know that this guy never actually worked a job in his life. He is actually a Nepo baby supported by terrorist organizations that supports terrorist organizations coming to roll in and fuck a wonderful city.
When I explain how stupid these policies are and how they'll backfire and how they'll make the city worse. But the fact is, a huge portion of the voters are behind this guy, and he is consistent.
Obviously, the people are retarded, and he's telling them exactly what they want to hear.
Polling in second place behind Andrew Cuomo. Oh, and did I forget to mention, Mamdani is also a defund the police guy, somebody who believes that the police are wicked.
Oh my god, we're still doing this? Are we still doing this? Bro. Oh my lord, dude. Oh god.
And he's actually, without saying the words defund the police, running on the same campaign for mayor right now as we speak.
Are you for defunding the police? Are you for a serious reform that people can see on the ground?
I am in favor of defunding the police.
Great. That'll work. That'll do it. Let's turn New York City to Gotham immediately.
And this is why I hate the New York City mayoral election.
I can't believe that Frogan was able to interview him. That's crazy. I did not expect to see a Frogan interview with the mayor. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And as it stands right now, because in reality, we just have terrible choices. If you guys will recall, Governor Andrew Cuomo is the guy who signed bail reform, less is more, and raised the age. Now, he did those.
Cuomo's awful, too. Like, the thing is, it's literally two evils. Cuomo's terrible. But at least he's not a terrorist. Oh, New York, you're cooked.
Those things because Andrew Cuomo wanted to run for president, and those things were in vogue at the time, and he wanted to be somebody seen as the leader on that issue if he decided to run in the primary, which shows clearly and obviously that Cuomo has no principles, and he will sign things that he knows are bad into law.
Of course he will. He just wants to win. He wants control, and in my opinion, he's trying to push some shit that he's not even saying right now
in order to forward his political career. But Mamdani believes in all that stuff. He's a true believer. He believes in defunding the police, abolishing the prisons, fighting for the illegal aliens.
Abolishing the prisons? For the love of God, how did we get here? How did we get here? Oh, God.
Against giving them whatever welfare that they want.
Which, by the way, I think it's demonic. It's demonic, bro. Giving welfare to illegal immigrants just means that taxpayers are paying for people that are there illegally. Insane.
So the guy is an even more disaster because all the bad things that Cuomo did that he doesn't believe in, Mamdani truly believes in and wants to extend that tenfold, and that's the position where we're at right now. Now, of course, I just want to point out for everybody out there in the audience that people are going to say that Mamdani is leading in one particular poll, one specific poll, and I just need to make this clear. That poll is funded by the Mamdani campaign. They are connected to them. It also has a bunch of sampling issues, and maybe the most crucial thing about that poll is that it does not actually factor in ranked choice voting, which is how New York changed their Democratic primary process for this mayoral election in order to incorporate that. So all the polls that do factor in ranked choice voting have Cuomo winning by at least 12 over Mamdani.
Oh, God, dude. Oh, thank God, dude. This guy obviously has the biggest push on the internet. Dude, Hasan must have given him millions of dollars worth of advertisement. Literally, millions of advertisement. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Oh, fuck, dude.
But this one poll that was put out by his campaign, basically, in order to gain headlines, is what everybody's focusing on to essentially artificially generate the hype surrounding him. Now, I will also be remiss if I don't point out that despite all of these different various attacks that I've laid out against Mamdani on why he'll be the worst candidate, a huge portion of the attacks that are against him are related to the nation of Israel. So Mamdani...
Dude, what? Bro, what the fuck, man? How is that relevant, man, at all? How is it relevant? They're in New York voting for a mayor. There's no foreign policy. Oh my God, these people are such sheep. The fucking wokies are like actual retarded people.
Is obviously a radical socialist, a DSA member, and a radical Muslim, so he hates Israel.
Bro's a radical Muslim.
He wants that.
Of course he hates Israel, obviously.
To be wiped out. I think he's actually said that as mayor, he would try to arrest Israeli officials.
What? Bro, you want to destabilize the country, bro. Dude, why are the Jews always involved? Can we have like a Jew day off? Please? Please? And it's not like you can even divert the attention. Bro, there was a fucking slaughter of Christians in Nigeria. No one's talking about that because we got Jews. We got Jews to blame for some shit. We got Jews to do shit too. Every single time. Literally every time. It's crazy. Oh my God.
Now to the question around Benjamin Netanyahu, I was asked what I would do after he had just been issued an arrest warrant by the International Court of Justice.
First of all, it was the International Criminal Court. Bub. All right. And second of all, it is a massively debated issue because the person that released that arrest warrant did it to cover up his own sexual assault allegations. And that is a true fact, not just a conspiracy theory, okay? Literally a true fact. And I'll show it to you if you want. Like, dude, again, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a lot of criticism. But, dude, this is fucking wild that he's taken it this far. Let me see if I can find it. Bro, the problem is Netanyahu really talks a lot. Really hard to find this guy. It's really hard to find anything. All right, let's go. How much does he tweet? Oh, he tweets. Oh, he's a tweeter. Is it just me, or is it kind of insane that you have politicians actually talking through Twitter? British ICC chief used Gaza to silence sexual assault accuser. Karim Khan allegedly told complainant that proceeding with the case would harm Palestinians, and he used it to silence. This. So anyway, whatever. So interesting.
My answer is the same whether we are speaking about Vladimir Putin or Netanyahu. I think that this should be a city in compliance with international law, and we have seen other countries.
You literally let in illegal immigrants. You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't even be upset about this, bro. I wouldn't even be upset if you want to arrest anyone that's like literally has like some sort of arrest warrant from literally anywhere, whatever. You literally let in illegal immigrants and steal taxpayer dollars to fund their shit. Give me a break with your freaking laws, you absolute douche, complete douche. You are literally the least complying city on the planet, bro. You supported United States designated terrorist organizations. You care about international law and you are going to support terrorist organizations? Selective enforcement. Holy loser. What a freaking bitch.
Who are signatories to the ICC state that they would honor that same request, be it Canada or other countries in Europe. And their honoring of it meant that Netanyahu did not travel there.
Which is just wonderful for New York City. We're just
absolutely. New York is going to love that.
Going to go after foreign officials based on the ICC, which the United States is not a party to.
Yep, the United States doesn't even agree with this. The ICC has no power over the United States. It's unreal. It's unreal. Oh my God. How do you support United States designated terrorist organizations, but a British court told you to arrest an Israeli guy, so that you'll do?
and Israel's not a party to, because that's apparently the #1 priority for this guy. And this is what's giving him a lot of heat, because New York has the largest Jewish population outside of Israel.
True.
But trust me, the Israeli stuff, that's all secondary. You know, New York City mayor is not a foreign policy position.
I agree. I don't give a shit about what the mayor of some city in America thinks about Israel. That's completely irrelevant. It's just wild that it comes up every time. In my opinion, it's A, a social media grift, and B, and I think this is more important, it's not just the social media grift, but you have some radical fucking guys that hate everything about the West that are actually coming into power. Look at England. England is so fucked, man.
I know
I get people in my chat telling me to talk about England. What do you want me to talk about? What do you want to talk about? That your government was hiding fucking grooming gangs and rapists because they didn't want to increase Islamophobia? What, you happy now that I mentioned it?
Democrats think that as mayors they need to be like the leaders out there in the world.
Absolutely. That's literally what they think.
All these Democrats going to Ghana and partying it up.
That's right, fucking Karen Bass went to Ghana. Oh my god. Oh lord, these guys suck. Holy shit. Dude, you don't understand how brain rotted this guy is. So Zohran is an ethnically Indian guy from Uganda, all right? His #1 political issue as a mayor in New York is Palestine. It is Palestine that brought me into organizing, and it is Palestine that I will always organize for. Dog, you are the mayor of New York as an Indian from Uganda. Why the fuck is your #1 shit Palestine? This has nothing to do with anything that you have to do. You literally have nothing to do with Palestine. It should not be on your radar. You should be focusing on what are you doing? Oh my god, bro, what are we doing here?
Over there, but trust me, New York City should be about New York City. It should be about all these other policies.
All right, I'm becoming the mayor of New York. So is your first focus New York? No, it's Palestine. Cool.
But you know what? If the Israeli thing is what's going to take Mamdani out for the mayoral consideration.
Take him out? Are you kidding me? The progressives loves this shit. They do. They love this shit.
I'll take it. I'll accept those consequences of foreign influence on our government if that happens to get rid of the absolutely terrible candidate, who, by the way, is probably connected to a bunch of different other foreign regimes that he owes all.
I mean, I think he's a puppet. To be honest, I think he's a puppet of all these regimes. Apparently, he vetoed his own bus plan. Like, he ran on this bus plan, but he voted against his own plan for free buses last year. He was talking about how he was doing this crazy bus plan, and the buses, they're going to be free, they're going to be a little slower than trains, but they're going to be free so he can help the poor people. He voted against the own plan that he's using to virtue signal. Like, this is a slimy, two-faced fuck that obviously has plans, in my opinion, for foreign government reasons. And I don't trust him. I do not trust him at all. Every clip I see of him makes me like him less.
Next mayor! Next mayor!
Yep, we think that if Zohran becomes mayor, he will benefit the Bangladeshis immensely. What? What about New Yorkers? Great. Good. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Oh shit. Oh yes. Oh yes. Every time I see a clip of him, I just like him less.
We're gluttons for punishment, evidently. A few other gems. He said that taxation isn't theft. Capitalism is. He wants to
Capitalism is theft, according to Mamdani.
Freeze all rents. He has refused to condemn the Holocaust. Even
that's not real. That's not real. No.
He wants to freeze all rents. He has refused to condemn the Holocaust. Even.
I feel like that's a pretty easy stance, right? Okay, I gotta look this up. Has Zohran Mamdani refused to condemn the Holocaust? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's no evidence that he explicitly refused to condemn the Holocaust. However, posts on X and some web sources have raised concerns. Okay. These claims feel... Okay. Specifically noting that he did not sponsor or sign onto a bipartisan proclamation by the New York State Assembly commemorating the Holocaust. He refused to sign. He refused to sign on some shit commemorating the Holocaust. All right. Mamdani stated that his office was not listing him as a sponsor on any legislation. That was his excuse. These claims have fueled criticism, particularly from Jewish advocacy groups and political opponents. Whatever. I'm trying my best to find something, bro. I'm trying to find something, but dude, they're just saying this. I mean, this is Fox News, so obviously they're biased, but like, that's crazy. Holy.
The New York Times.
Oh my God.
Freeze all rents. He has refused to condemn the Holocaust. Even the New York Times opinion section came out and basically said he was too liberal and that his agenda is damaging. And, you know,
he refused to condemn the intifada. Bro, he supports the intifada. What do you mean, refused to condemn? That's how he started this video.
Now, I want people to know, I want you to know that people in New York are not, for the most part, this crazy. And in fact, in 2020,
not yet.
Before Trump saw an increase in votes in 10 to 15
Let's
points.
go, dude.
But the issue is that Mamdani has been able to get a very radical and vocal group.
Correct. The Hasan Pikers of the universe have united for this guy. The freaking Hasan Pikers that collabed with him 1,000 times.
Very popular on social media. AOC endorsed him.
Great.
Bernie Sanders endorsed him.
Oh, Bernie Sanders. That's good. That's good. Another communist.
He's very charismatic. And the concern is that on the Democratic...
He had no job. He never worked the business. He just says random platitudes. Anyone that ever worked for a living will not vote for this guy. The Jews definitely won't.
Primary, the people who turn out to vote are the radicals. They are the people who are going to at Columbia.
Yeah, these are the people that are lighting cars on fire. The people lighting cars on fire, those are the ones that are voting for this guy.
Who show up to the ICE protests, those are his supporters. And the concern is that they'll show up to anything to protest, and they will certainly show up to vote, whereas the centrist candidates...
Yeah, the centrists don't care. A lot of people don't care who the mayor is, which is kind of stupid. But a lot of people just don't go vote.
A lot of their people have jobs and a life.
True! True! All the jobless professional protesters are going to be there to vote, but the people with jobs are not. They don't go vote. No! He is literally running and polling for the worst of society, the least important. Oh my God.
And won't necessarily show up to support their candidate because I don't think they realize that he's a very possible winner here.
Yikes, bro. Anyway, whatever, bro. I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy. I'm gonna call it here. That's enough of New York. I had enough of New York. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe for future content. I will keep you updated, of course, here. I will keep you updated. I'm paying attention to every person Hasan Piker endorses. There's this interesting connection between all the Hasan endorsements that, for some suspicious reason, they all like terrorist organizations. I don't know. It's just something funny I've been noticing. Of course, I'll link Actual Justice Warrior in the description, guys. Great. And I'll see you in the next one, gamers. Thank you so much. I've been doing lots of great content recently. That was it. It was a little self-glaze at the end, okay? Okay, you could go. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.